Disappointments, though. My first one would be Sam Darnold. And, I think it's because he kind of just is who we all figured he might be after that tenure with the Jets. I mean, he just kind of is the same guy. And, I said this after they went to 3-0, but he was still turning the ball over a little bit, right? Or he was at least, throwing interceptable passes. He was fumbling. And those things start to catch up with you. And frankly, they have for Sam Darnold over the last few weeks. And now he's going to be out for probably 4 to 6 weeks with that shoulder injury. PJ Walker's going to get a chance to come in and show what he can do. I don't know if he's going to be much better than Sam Darnold, but right now, Sam Darnold's got the third worst passer rating among any qualified passers, right? The only two that are worse right now are Zach Wilson and Justin Fields. So I think that tells you a lot about Darnold right now, and PJ Walker probably couldn't be much worse.
And Darnold's going to be gone. David Tepper is desperate to find a franchise quarterback, and he's willing to burn his way through non-franchise quarterbacks and come to the conclusion, this guy's not going to be one of the best in the league, so I'm moving on. Because, hey, you could argue Teddy Bridgewater would have been better than Sam Darnold. The point is they're trying to find a franchise quarterback. They know where Teddy's ceiling is. They didn't know where Sam Darnold's is, and it'll continue until they find the guy that becomes one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And I raise that for one very important reason. I know we got to move on, but my day started about 12 hours ago on WFNZ in Charlotte, and they asked me about Matt Rule possibly being on the hot seat. And you know what? Ordinarily, he's only in his second season. He's got the big contract. There'd be a big buyout. But if David Tepper has decided this guy's not going to be the next Vince Lombardi or anything close to it, I wouldn't be surprised if David Tepper writes the check. There's no salary cap to worry about because he understands, and he said this himself on Amazon's All or Nothing a couple of years ago, the league is set up for everybody to be 8-8. And with a great coach, great GM, great quarterback, that's how you push it in your favor. And if he's decided that Matt Rule isn't the guy I thought he was going to be, hey, maybe he's good enough, but he's not what I thought he was going to be, wouldn't surprise me if he says, there's another coach out there that may be greater than Matt Rule. Wouldn't surprise me. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying wouldn't surprise me. All right, what did surprise me from a struggle standpoint, the 49ers. All the hope, all the hype, and as Mike Sando of The Athletic pointed out the other day, that 13-3 season in 2019 is treated as the rule, but it's actually the exception. You take that season out, and Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are 19-37, and that is unacceptable. And the 49ers currently are unacceptable, and they have a hell of a test, Miles, against your what used to be Cleveland Rams a long time ago on Monday night. If they lose that and they fall to 3-6, and again, I don't know how many losses it's going to take before you're just done. But I'm stunned the 49ers are where they are. But I can't say I completely didn't see it coming because they seemed so discombobulated about their quarterback situation.
Well, that is the interesting thing, right? I mean, and we talked about, the Arizona Cardinals and the fact that they came in there and beat the brakes off them with Colt McCoy. That's not really an acceptable thing. And I think that especially is where you're just like, man, what exactly is going on up there? And when you have that 13-3 season that got them to the Super Bowl, and maybe, if Jimmy Garoppolo hits Emmanuel Sanders down there on that deep shot in the middle of the field, we're having a different sort of conversation, but he didn't. And now, like you said, like 19-37 in the seasons that they didn't get to the Super Bowl. So I think it's fair to be very disappointed in them. Let me talk, though, about how the Bengals have totally flopped after that big win that they had over the Baltimore Ravens. And I mean, you mentioned sort of recency bias, but if you look at these last 2 weeks that the Bengals have had, look, they were listless against the Jets. They let somebody we've never heard of basically dink and dunk their way to an offensive player of the week in the AFC and Mike White. And yeah, I know he's going to be able to get another shot at starting there, but look, it's something that you didn't expect from the Bengals after they were able to beat both Pittsburgh and Baltimore on the road, that they then go to New Jersey and then just get, flopped by the Jets. And then they really did not play well against the Cleveland Browns on Sunday either, getting beat real bad at home. So they've got a bye week right now. They've got to make sure that they regroup. Otherwise, they're not going to make the playoffs. And frankly, I thought that they might be able to run away with that division after they beat Baltimore the way they did.
Yeah, look, I agree, and they read their press clippings a little bit too aggressively. Let's rip through these last three because we're getting up against it. The Vikings, for all reasons I've stated over the past 2 weeks, hashtag purple purgatory. This was the year they're supposed to be a playoff team. Right now, they are looking like not a playoff team, and I don't see them improving offensively or defensively, and I think big changes could be coming in Minnesota. You're up.
All right, let me get to Washington because, like you just said, I mean, they've gone into the crapper, right? I mean, they are now 29th in points allowed and in yards allowed after being 4th and 2nd in those categories last year. It makes no sense. I have no idea why they're so bad, but they are a real disappointment to me.
And for me, the last one, the Chiefs struggling. They were the offseason Super Bowl winner, favorite, and that continued into the early start of the regular season. And they've lost their magic. They can't get it back, and maybe they'll be trying to get it back with Odell Beckham Jr. I still continue to check to see whether there's any sign, any reporting that OBJ is going to be a Kansas City Chief. Hasn't happened yet.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.